All right. Good morning, everyone. Good Sunday morning to all of you out there. I thought I would do just kind of like an update video. This is predominantly an uplifting Uber chat type video because there's some information I want to give not only other drivers out there, but those of you who may use the Uber and Lyft platform as passengers. This is information in case you didn't know this information. You probably want to keep this information in mind. Okay, well, yeah, it's been a crazy, hectic week for me. Good news about my car, my new used car. We had to end up going ahead and ordering an ABS module. That's, for the anti brake lock system. Because what my husband did is he took all the wheels off and he cleaned all the sensors and reset the computer, hoping, that maybe, if it was just, dirty or something like that, that maybe that would fix the error codes, and then the brake light, wouldn't be coming on anymore. So he did that, and we went for a test drive, and right away the brake light comes on, and we're like, because I'm really excited to start driving my car, because he has spent he spent like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday just like working himself like a dog, cleaning it, because we had to take the whole back seat out. We bought some special upholstery cleaner, and it's like when we bought it, we couldn't see that, things were not as in good of shape as we thought. But I just, it's just like I wanted to get it done, wanted to get the cars bought. But I can say, using a special cleaner that we bought, and using a shop vac that we had, it got everything cleaned up. I mean, it looks like a brand new car. And so we did that, got, everything cleaned up, the dash, put Armor All on, and all of that. And then when he, took the wheels off, he, we took it for a test drive, and then saw that, that the brake light, is still coming on. So we took it up to a place called O'Reilly's, which is just like an auto parts store, where they come out with their like little handheld computer things, where they can test to see what the, exactly what the code is signifying. And of course the same codes came up that came up before he, tried to, change the tires and do all of that. So he went ahead and ordered an ABS module, which shipped yesterday, priority. So we're hoping that it comes either tomorrow, or we should have by Tuesday. He'll get that changed out, and crossing fingers that takes care of the problem. He found one on sale, so it didn't cost a whole lot. Hi, Melted Zone. Hi. But anyway, so please keep that in prayer, okay? Because these are the cars that I feel God wanted us to have. And so I know that God's going to work out everything. Now, he finally was able to get back driving for a few hours Friday night, and then last night. And of course, I've been driving, extra long hours to kind of help make up the income for both of us, because he spent so much time on my car. But, there's not really anything more that we can do until that ABS module comes in. So, after he wakes up, he'll be driving today as well. I thought I'd go ahead and do this video now this morning before it starts getting too hot, because then my phone like overheats, and then it like shuts down the app, and it's just like a whole big hassle. But anyways, okay, so what happened to me yesterday, where I had to submit my first they listed in the app, and this was for Lyft, as damage, safety, and damage report. Okay, well, and I felt, it's like I'm conflicted about this, and you'll see why. Okay, so I get the call. It was my first ride of the day. I had both apps open, and the first one who pinged through was Lyft. So I went ahead and accepted that, and then I turned off Uber. Well, Lyft has a new thing that they've added to their app, which is basically copying from Uber, where they can send any specific notes to their driver, like, go to building 12, just things that help drivers be able to locate them better. And so got a message that I need to go to his building, and what building it was and what apartment he was in. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Then the passenger called me and said that he would need help to the car. And I think, okay, this is a disabled man. And at first I thought, he said, to come upstairs. And so when I get there, I find his building number, okay. And, I'm walking around trying to find his apartment number, and I'm thinking, it's upstairs, and he sees that I'm there, and no, come to find out, because he's in a wheelchair, he's, on ground level. And so I had to give some extra help to him. The apartment complex was not wheelchair accessible. There were no ramps or anything. So he had like a portable ramp that he just had me like laid down so that he could roll down the couple of steps to get to my car, which that was fine. I didn't mind helping with that at all. And drivers, you got to be careful. You don't want to deny service to disabled people. It's the same thing like with service animals. Even if you have a fear or you're allergic to dogs, you cannot refuse a ride. You will get deactivated for this. And so it was just him, so there wasn't going to be an issue of his wheelchair not fitting into my car. All I did was just put the seats down in the back. So get to my car, and he's able to get into the front seat, okay, by himself, and then I folded up his wheelchair and put it in the back. Well, what I should have done, but I was trying not to embarrass him or cause shame. He had a chuck underneath him, and a chuck is, elderly people or people that are sick. It's to help you not have bodily fluids stain, like your clothing or like the bed, sheets, that sort of thing. Well, he had one of those under him in the wheelchair. Well, he had an accident, number 2 accident, and it was on the chuck. And I could tell right away that embarrassed him. It shamed him. And I felt really bad, and, so he folded it up, and I had to go throw that away, which that was fine. I mean, I took care of my dad until he passed away last, a year ago, this past April. And so, I'm, very familiar with the chucks and all of that. Had no problem. He got in the car while I went and threw it in the trash can. Okay, so we're in the car. He's heading to a local hospital. What had happened to him, and this is where some of my confliction comes in. He got a flesh-eating bacteria that took his whole leg. And he had just gotten out of the hospital. You know, he had to be in a medically induced coma for like 8 weeks. And, you know, he was basically just now home, able to care for himself without a caregiver living with him. Like for, well, yeah. So, I mean, he's has to take care of himself, you know. I mean, I felt so bad, you know, just thinking, you know, flesh-eating bacteria took his whole leg. And so I wasn't trying to draw attention to the fact that, you know, he had had an accident in his wheelchair. But because I carry a blanket to put on seats when I do have service animals, what I should have done, and I probably would have found a way to word this respectfully and as gracefully as I could, I would have said, "Sir, let me get a blanket and put a blanket on the seat, you know, just in case, you know." But I didn't do that. So we get to the hospital, and I get the wheelchair out. He's able to get out and get into the wheelchair, and you know, tell him goodbye. I end the ride, but now I've got a stain on my front seat, and I'm like, oh, this is, wow, okay. And so I logged off, didn't take any more rides. I had, and thankfully I wasn't far from home. This was like, it was the same hospital actually that my mother-in-law had to go into when she had her stroke. So it's like maybe 3 miles from my house. Excuse me just a second. And so I went home. My husband was awake, and told him what happened. And I tried to explain to my husband, you know, well, let me back up. The guy told me that the Lyft driver before me got there and said, "No, I can't do this. You know, I'm sorry," and canceled. Well, see, he reported that to Lyft. And because of Lyft's policy, we are not allowed to cancel a ride, because that could be seen as discrimination. And so, you know, I tried to explain to my husband, you know, we could get deactivated for that. We could get in big trouble. Now, the only exception, I suppose, that could be there is if the wheelchair just will not fit in your car, then you have no choice but to cancel. And so, you know, my husband was just thinking, okay, this is a situation, you know, a man that just gets out of the hospital, and because of the severity of his injuries, you know, the illness, you know, that took his leg and stuff, that he probably should have, you know, instead of calling, you know, like Lyft or Uber, he should be calling like one of those wheelchair transport companies that, you know, have the big vans that it's all wheelchair accessible. They help get them in. They can deal with, you know, any kind of cleanup, you know. But regardless, you know, I'm going to talk to my husband again. Let him know that Dustin just talked about this, that you cannot refuse passengers just because they're in a wheelchair. You cannot do that. Because I've had people in scooters, you know, and it fits in the back, or I just put the seats down. But so what I did first is I took a picture of the seat, and then went into the app, into the actual ride, because that's how you report for you know, you've got a cleaning fee. And so just explained what happened. And we had a past estimate for about 150 for when my husband had that puker on his very first night driving for Lyft. But because, you know, we waited over 6 hours, we basically had to eat that. But we did take it down to a car detail shop, and did get an estimate. And so what I did is I had bought cleaner to clean my new car, and it's called Shout Auto. It's like a foam, and it's really, really good. And so I used that, and then used the shop vac that we bought a couple of months ago. And I went over it like maybe 4 or 5 times, spraying the foam on, and then also used the shop vac and got that all up. And so just basically was waiting to hear back from Lyft, because they determine what the fee is for that. So got that all cleaned up, and then I went back out on the road, and I drove until 11 o'clock last night. I quit when I had to go pick up my youngest son from work. Okay, so this morning I wake up and I have an email reply back from Lyft saying that they have charged the customer $100, and that's been credited to my account, which, yes, I do have that $100 in my Lyft account, and that within 24 hours I need to submit a receipt or an estimate from in any car detailing company. And so I had to write back, and I explained that, I bought cleaner myself. I had a shop vac that, we had just recently bought for this job, for driving for Lyft. And so what I did is I took a picture of the receipt for the cleaner. I took a picture of the actual cleaner itself, took an after picture of the seat showing that it's clean now, and then I took a picture of the shop vac. So sent that, explained everything, and then I got a reply back that it was just, and the way that Lyft and even Uber replies to you, it's just like I'm sorry to say it, they're ass kissing, basically, because they're trying to be like the sticky sweet, well, we understand how much of an inconvenience it is to you to, have to do, this and that, but, to be fair to everyone, we have to, have the receipts, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you have everything that you need to complete this claim. So I kind of I had to explain it again. And so then I found the receipt for the shop vac. So I went ahead and I took a picture of the receipt showing that, yes, we paid the $64 for this brand new shop vac. So by the time you pay the $64 and the $10 for the cleaner, that's $75 right there. And then figure what, maybe $25 for just for me, for, the time out that I couldn't take passengers. It was like an hour and a half that I'm not out there working, earning money, earning income. So yeah, I think $100 is very, very fair. And so then they replied back, that they're not going to take the $100 away, basically, but next time, because it could affect my future claims, next time I have to have a receipt or an estimate from a licensed car detailing company. So you guys out there that are drivers, and this is why we bought 2 more cars, so that if something like this happens and this car is down and out and cannot be used for whatever reason, whether there's maintenance that has to be done, or somebody pukes in the car, or like this, had a bowel movement accident in the car, I still have another car to drive, and then I'm not out of of income. I'm not, out of work, basically. So, you drivers out there, you have to get the actual estimate, okay? They'll give you, 24 hours. You submit it right away the minute you notice it. You take your pictures, make sure the pictures are really good, in good lighting. Explain what happened, but then you just be prepared. You take it, you find a good car detailing company that you trust, that you're going to use, and you take it in, and you get your estimate, and then you send that estimate into them. And so, yeah, so that's my advice. Now I don't know if in the future if they would require me to actually, like, instead of cleaning it myself, take it in and show an actual receipt showing that it's been paid, however much the cleaning fee is, and then I just send that receipt and then I'm reimbursed. It may be that, but at a bare minimum, you've got to get that estimate. Otherwise, what you're going to have to decide is, how big is the mess? How big is the damage? Can you clean it to a professional grade, professional level, and you just eat it yourself? Because they're going to make you, at least at a bare minimum, have an estimate, and then they may even require you to send in the receipt showing that the cleaning and the repairs was done. Here's what you were charged, and all of that. So yeah, that's going to be up to you guys what you want to do with that. But I did get my $100 cleaning fee. And, I was conflicted with this, because I'm like, I felt so bad for this man that he got this flesh-eating bacteria that took his whole leg. And, just being empathetic, being sympathetic to him, being kind, loving, professional. But can I be kind, caring, professional, and sensitive to the nature of his, illness or injury, but understand that this is my business, and if a customer does something to my car that means my car is going to be out of commission or damages it, I can't just not do anything because I feel bad for him. Do you see what I mean? And so I think I handled it, I think I handled it the right way, because while I can still be loving and kind and caring, and sensitive to the needs of my passenger, this is my job. This car is my work vehicle, and I have to look at it that way, and I have to treat it that way. That's why my husband worked like a dog for 3 days getting my car ready, because this is where we make our income. This is how we are supporting our family. So, but for passengers that are listening, please keep this in mind, especially if you're bringing children into a driver's car. I would not let them eat or drink, because if you spill something in their car, they may not be willing, like I was, to just clean it myself or even to eat it. They may take it right down to the car detailer company that they use. And I don't know what the max cleaning fee is, but like for vomit, I think it's like anywhere from $150 to $250. Okay. I suppose just depending on how bad the cleaning job has to be. So keep that in mind. If you're taking an Uber or Lyft, on a Friday or Saturday night, or even if you're ordering a ride, especially this, if you're ordering a ride for somebody and they would damage the driver's car, but it was your account that was used, you're going to get paid. You're going to get charged for that. So just Be very careful. I got to turn my air conditioning. It's starting to get too warm in here. Be very, very careful who you allow to use your account. I would say don't do it for somebody if you don't honestly and sincerely trust them and know that they're going to be a responsible passenger. Because if they mess up, if they act out of line, because this, I don't know if I told you guys this, because this happened to me. Maybe, I don't remember if I told you guys this or not, but this is a good point to make. A man with his account ordered a ride for a woman. She was homeless, to take her and a box of food, just like maybe a mile or two to a house. And so she gets in, and I could tell right away she's high on something. I'm thinking she's high on meth or something, because she was just talk, just, I mean, I couldn't hardly get a word in edgewise. She would be off on this subject, and then immediately she'd be talking about this subject. And I mean, just, it was like, wow. And so I pull up to the first place, and she drops off some food. But then she asks me if I could take her to her daughter's house. Okay. And see, here's the thing. And now maybe as a driver, because I knew that, you know, this was this man's account and he's letting her, maybe I should have said, no, I'm sorry, you know, this isn't your account. You know, the man only authorized to be taken, you know, to such a place. And actually Lyft has a thing now where the ride will be locked, because social services like Medi-Cal and stuff, they now use Uber and Lyft to take their clients, like when they have to go to drug rehab or to go pick up medicine. It'll say locked, and this is something new that I noticed. It'll say locked, where you can't add a stop, you can't do a round trip, and you can't change the destination. You just have to take them to where it's listed in the app. That's where you take them. And the person was like, can you bring me right back? And I had to say, nope, I'm sorry, I can't. I said, this is a locked trip. I can only take you there and drop you off. So, drivers, just be warned. But see, what happened with me is I went ahead and said, yes, I would take her to her daughter's house. And that was like another 20 minutes away. And you know, she wanted me to stop at the thrift store, and I said, no, I can't do that. You know, I have to get home. So she was like really trying to take advantage and milk the system, as they call it. And so we get there, and she's trying to see if her son-in-law will let her in, and she goes inside, and I'm just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, this was my last ride of the day. And so what I did is I got out, I took her box of food, I laid it on the ground, and I left. I logged off, I ended the ride, and I logged off. Well, now see, that man, he complained and said, no, I'm not paying this extra money. And so then I wrote back and I said, okay, look, I said, I was professional. This man ordered the ride for this woman who was high on drugs, and she wanted to be taken to her daughter's house. And I said, I made the decision to go ahead and do that because I've done that before. I'm not responsible for account holders that let other people use their accounts. And see, it's against policy. You can't be having stoned out of their mind, high on drug people in your car, okay? And so what they did is they made sure that I would never be paired with him again, and they would look into it, because that's like against policy. You're supposed to behave yourself when you're riding on the platforms. So I was able to go ahead and keep it. Ended up being, instead of like maybe a $2 or $3 fare, it ended up being like $17 or $18 fare, and they let me keep it. So just be careful with that, guys. Let me see somebody. Let me see who. Okay. Yeah, I've got a troll on here, it seems. But anyways, so yeah, just be aware if you're a passenger. Just be aware, you know, if you make a mess, your driver is authorized and entitled to the appropriate cleaning fee. Don't let, you know, if you're going with your kids, don't let them eat and drink in the car. And if you're a driver, to the very best of your ability, don't let people eat or drink in your car, because if they spill something, I mean, you can go through the whole hassle of having to go to a car detailer and get an estimate. I mean, I guess it's going to depend on what you want to do about that. Okay, so other news, other channel news. I did reschedule the Rapture hangout for, I believe it's a Saturday. It's the second Saturday in July. I believe it's the 13th. Okay, so July 13th. It's a Saturday, 3 p.m. And that's when me, Merle, Bill, and maybe a couple of other people are going to be going over the most common rapture views in the church, and you know what scripture they feel supports their view and their stance. So got a date for you guys, second Saturday in July, 3 p.m. on here on my channel. So all right, well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and get going. I'm a little late getting started this morning, but I'm going to be driving probably till 8, 9, maybe 10 tonight, because today's the last day of the work week. So all right, guys, take care, be careful out there if you're a driver.